On August 29, 1970, Police Commissioner Rizzo staged multiple raids on Panther offices around the city. Panther members were stripped in the street. Less than a week later, the Black Panther Party convened the Revolutionary People's Constitutional Convention at Temple University in Philadelphia. Jamal returned from California and served on the security team. Jamal's Panther activity did not go unnoticed by government authorities.
In my case, where you have the police who moved against me since a youth because of my Black Panther history and before, with no criminal background, the political nature is clearly evident.
He was named in a House of Representatives committee report on internal security. The government bided its time.
They sent letters, smut letters, from husbands to wives, you know. They sent letters to employers, you know, stigmatizing people. They sent letters from one radical organization to another radical organization to try to incite violence between those two organizations. In fact, in the Black Panther Party out in LA in 1973, I think it was, in 1969, I believe, there was a brother named Bunchy Carter who was killed because of a conflict with the US organization, because there were letters going between the organizations that were not authored by Panthers. They were authored by FBI agents in some dark office in California to incite hatred and division between radical groups.
In the end, the Black Panther Party was destroyed by both police terror from without and a murderous internal factionalism inflamed by COINTELPRO provocations. During the next 10 years, Jamal wrote and broadcast. His voice was heard on the National Black Network and many Philadelphia radio stations. His work was guided by the, quote, principle that we are oppressed black human beings first. He was elected president of the Philadelphia chapter of the Association of Black Journalists at age 26 in November 1980. He was named by Philadelphia Magazine as one of its people to watch in 1981. He became known as the voice of the voiceless, and among those voiceless was the MOVE organization.
I met MOVE while covering them in Philadelphia. I became exposed to them as opposed to reading about them, and found out that what I read about them had no relationship to the kind of people they were and what they were about. That every published report was tinged with prejudice and hatred. MOVE members have been active and above ground in Philadelphia since 1973. They've been through every jail in Philadelphia. They've been beaten in every police district all over Philadelphia for standing up for their belief to defend life.
The police will be in there to drag them out by the backs of their necks.
There will be a confrontation this time. There will be no barricades.
I don't know. It's up to them whether there's no barricades, Mike. They're going to be taken by force if they resist. No question about that. Children or not.
In 1978, Frank Rizzo escalated the war on the MOVE organization. The MOVE commune in Philadelphia's Powelton Village was razed by police bulldozers. An army of police fired untold rounds into the house despite the presence of children. Former Panther Delbert Africa was savagely beaten.
Kicking him on the head. I have no idea. I couldn't see. Get up!
Cops, you're making a mistake doing that.
Your ass, they are.
During the police crossfire, one cop was killed.
There was an incredible response by the city. I'm talking like 700 cops. A siege around the neighborhood. And it really continued day by day until it built up to August 8, 1978, which is the case of a police assault on MOVE headquarters, maybe 500 policemen. What people may not know is that the arms that MOVE had were inoperable, that they were there to show the police that MOVE was serious about defending the home, but they had no firing pins. They couldn't work.
Jamal covered the MOVE story and attended the August 8th press conference, which Rizzo called to defend his brutal assault.
The press has to take a little of the blame here. They've glorified a bunch of criminals, a new breed of journalism that doesn't want both sides, only one side of the issue. The press is responsible for what's happening in this city.
Jamal became, in his own words, a widely known and among cops widely hated MOVE supporter who went to jails to get the Africa's side of the August 8th, 78 confrontation. He was deeply impressed by the refusal of MOVE members to be broken during the trial for the death of the cop.
I was seduced into the MOVE organization by the loveliness and goodness of its people and its members. I was probably enraged as well as sitting in a trial in an official capacity, objective as a journalist, and seeing that the law really didn't matter, that it didn't matter whether a man was innocent or guilty. It didn't matter what the law says your rights were. You just had 9 members of the MOVE organization being sentenced to 30 to 100 years for a crime that everybody knew they did not commit. I mean, 9 people cannot kill 1 man. What you had in Philadelphia in '81 was the naked state judicial terrorism of the Philadelphia judiciary against the MOVE organization. It was like, let's wipe them out. It's impossible for me to say what my feelings were in that time. Sitting in a courtroom, seeing that kind of naked injustice, it rankled me to the core.
In 1985, the state's vendetta against MOVE culminated in Mayor Wilson Good's bombing of the Osage Avenue house, which left 11, including 5 children, dead.
It was the Philadelphia Police Department. It was the state government of Pennsylvania. It was the FBI, the ATF of the U.S. government who bombed MOVE people on May 13, 1985. But no one would call any of those organizations or their employer, the U.S. government, terrorists. But why weren't they? They created mass murder, Holocaust, in a major city in America, and not one of them have ever been charged with any crime at all. Only Ramona Africa, guilty only of survival, is in jail following May 13, 1985.
Because he was an outspoken partisan of the oppressed and defender of the MOVE organization, at age 26, Jamal was well known throughout the city. On December 9, 1981, he was accused of the killing of a cop on the streets of Philadelphia. Jamal saw a cop beat his brother, who had been stopped for an alleged traffic violation. Jamal rushed in, taking a near-fatal bullet in the stomach. When the smoke cleared, the cop was dead. Jamal was sitting on a curb, bleeding profusely. Even the day after he was arrested, the Philadelphia Inquirer headlined, quote, "Jamal, an eloquent activist not afraid to raise his voice," close quote.
I was charged with homicide of a police officer in Philadelphia. I was convicted of murder in the first degree and sentenced to death